Nagato. Nagato, also known as Pain, was the leader of the Akatsuki and one of the most tragic and complex figures in the Naruto series. Born in the war-torn land of Rain, Nagato was orphaned at a young age when his parents were killed by Konoha shinobi during a mission. His suffering awakened the legendary Rinnegan, implanted in him secretly by Madara Uchiha as part of a long-term plan. Wandering alone, Nagato was later found by Konan and Yahiko, and together they formed a bond of survival and hope. Their lives changed further when Jiraiya took them in, teaching them ninjutsu and instilling a belief in peace. Inspired, Yahiko founded the Akatsuki with Nagato and Konan, aiming to bring stability to the Land of Rain. However, their ideals were shattered when Hanzo of the Salamander, in collusion with Danzo, ambushed the group. In a heart-wrenching moment, Yahiko sacrificed himself to save Konan, leaving Nagato devastated. This trauma, coupled with his hatred for the endless cycles of war, led Nagato to adopt the persona of Pain, and a more radical vision for peace through dominance and fear. However, after being left weakened and frail after the use of the Gedo statue, Nagato created the 6 Paths of Pain, corpses he could control remotely via black chakra rods, which allowed him to manipulate the corpses through his chakra and all sharing the same Rinnegan pattern. For the Deva Path, he used Yahiko's body, still wanting him to lead the organization in spirit. As for the other 5s, he used other shinobi who Jiraiya already met. Nagato's ability as Pain were rooted in his mastery of the Rinnegan, granting him access to godlike powers. Using the Rinnegan, Nagato created the 6 Paths of Pain, where each corpse represented one path, thus separating the Rinnegan abilities. These bodies, collectively known as Pain, allowed Nagato to act remotely while concealing his true frail self. Each path specialized in a unique ability. The Deva Push, control gravity, capable of unleashing the devastating city-leveling almighty push, and Planetary Devastation, a black sphere which attracts everything in its vicinity until creating a giant meteor. The Animal Path summoned giant creatures ranging from a chameleon capable of camouflage to a multi-headed dog capable of multiplying endlessly. The Human Path read minds and extracted souls. The Preta Path absorbed chakra-based attacks. The Asura Path utilized mechanized weapons and enhancements, and the Naraka Path could summon the King of Hell for interrogation or revival. Nagato himself possessed immense chakra reserves, enabling him to maintain these 6 bodies simultaneously and use large-scale techniques. Nagato's ideology evolved into a belief that true peace could only be achieved through shared pain, intending to create a weapon of mass destruction to force the world into understanding the horrors of war. His power and conviction made him a fearsome leader, successfully capturing several tailed beasts. However, his encounter with Naruto Uzumaki, who reminded him of his younger, idealistic self, became a turning point. Naruto's unwavering belief in a peaceful future inspired Nagato to abandon his path of destruction. In a final act of redemption, Nagato used the Outer Path, Samsara of Heavenly Life Technique, to revive all the lives he had taken during his attack on Konoha, sacrificing himself in the process. Nagato's journey from an orphan child to a godlike figure of destruction and finally to a symbol of redemption is one of the most poignant arcs in the Akatsuki story. Orochimaru. Orochimaru, one of the most infamous rogue ninja from Konoha, was an early member of the Akatsuki before pursuing his own ambitions. Once hailed as a prodigy among the legendary Sanin, Orochimaru's insatiable thirst for knowledge and power led him to conduct unethical experiments, seeking immortality and mastery over all ninjutsu. These experiments caused his exile from Konoha. Orochimaru joined the Akatsuki as a means to further his research and gain access to rare resources, including powerful allies and forbidden knowledge. However, his time with the Akatsuki was short-lived. Orochimaru's obsession with acquiring the Sharingan led him to attempt taking Itachi Uchiha's body as his vessel, only to be effortlessly defeated by Itachi. Realizing he was no match for the younger Uchiha, Orochimaru fled the organization to pursue his goals independently. Orochimaru's abilities were a reflection of his obsession with snakes and immortality. He could absorb chakra and demonstrated a vast mastery of ninjutsu as he mastered all the nature transformation jutsus with a particular focus on forbidden techniques and body modification. Orochimaru could shed his skin to escape fatal injuries and used immortality jutsu transference ritual, a technique allowing him to transfer his consciousness into a new host body, granting him pseudo-immortality. His body was augmented with snake-like characteristics, including the ability to extend his limbs, regenerate from injuries, and summon massive serpents for combat, as his true form became a giant white snake, which he uses for his reincarnation technique. His knowledge of summoning techniques allowed him to call forth Manda, the giant snake king, as a powerful ally. Orochimaru's experimentation extended to others as well. He created numerous followers, including genetically altered shinobi and individuals cursed with his cursed seals, which he developed from his senjutsu chakra after not being able to achieve the sage mode. Deidara was a prodigious S-rank shinobi from the Hidden Stone Village, known for his unique artistic philosophy which centered on the fleeting nature of his creations, believing that the brief moment of their detonation epitomized true art. Back in his village, Deidara was praised highly for his explosion-style Kekkei Genkai, which got him into the explosion core. However, his obsession with creating the ultimate transient masterpiece brought him into conflict with his village's traditional values, as he stole one of the village's forbidden techniques that allows one to knead their chakra into substances. That act and his conflicting philosophy was what led to his departure from Iwagakure. As a rogue ninja, Deidara became infamous for his use of explosive clay, which he considered a form of art. His use of his village's kinjutsu attracted the eye of the Akatsuki, who sent a team to recruit him. After a duel with Itachi Uchiha, Deidara lost, holding a deep resentment for Itachi, as the Uchiha's Sharingan exposed the flaws in Deidara's technique, forcing him to join the organization. However, he remained loyal to the Akatsuki mission, hoping to prove the superiority of his art through his contributions in various teams, such as his duo team with Sasori and later on with Tobi. Deidara's ability stemmed from his unique Kekkei Genkai, the explosion style, which allowed him to combine earth and lightning chakra to create controlled explosions. Using special mouths on his palm, which he gained through the forbidden jutsu he stole, Deidara molded chakra-infused clay into various forms, such as birds, spiders, and all sorts of his animals which he could control, use to move or fly and detonate at will. His techniques ranged from small-scale explosives for precise attacks like his clay clones or landmines to massive bombs capable of leveling entire landscapes. His jutsu, C2, creates a large dragon that Deidara securely mounts on and splits up smaller explosive clay figures from the creature's tail, which acts as independent smaller portions of the larger dragon. The dragon can also produce clay mines, which are then placed underground, restricting the enemy's movements. The landmines combined with the independent clay dolls make C2 a strategic technique which overwhelms and incapacitates the opponent while highlighting Deidara's tactical genius. His C3 jutsu, however, is a large-scale powerful bomb which takes the form of a small statue, which then massively increases in size when launched. Its explosion is powerful enough it can blow up a whole village into dust. Moreover, his deadliest technique is C4, a giant doll in Deidara's image which releases after exploding a cloud of microscopic bombs that once inhaled entered the victim's bloodstream and disintegrate them at a cellular level, literally turning them into dust. Finally, his most devastating move, considered as the highest form of Deidara's technique, is a last resort bomb he calls CO. He reveals a mouth on his chest which is stitched up. Once feeding it enough clay, it then kneads chakra directly from his heart, thus filling his own veins with his explosive chakra, which condensates into a sphere, which cracks and detonates, producing a 10-kilometer blast radius, which annihilates everything around, leaving no trace at the cost of his own life. Sasori, also known as Sasori of the Red Sand, was an S-rank shinobi from the village hidden in the sand who became a notorious rogue ninja. Sasori's backstory is steeped in tragedy and obsession. After losing his parents in Konoha's White Fang, he was left in the care of his grandmother, Chiyo, who taught him puppetry. His longing for familial bonds led him to create lifelike puppets of his parents, and their inability to reciprocate love left him disillusioned. Over time, Sasori grew increasingly detached from humanity, channeling his emotions into perfecting his craft. His obsession with eternal beauty and immortality drove him to create human puppets. Puppets crafted from real human bodies, preserving the abilities of their original owners. This obsession led him to leave his village, and in quest for infinite beauty, he converted his own body into a puppet with his core of living flesh as his only human part, thus appearing to maintain eternal youth, which he hides under another puppet. It was also around this time that Sasori murdered the third Kazekage and joined the Akatsuki and was paired with Orochimaru and later on with Deidara. Sasori was a master puppeteer renowned for his unmatched skill in creating and wielding puppets in battle. He primarily used Hiruko as a weapon and armor which he hides under, thus eliminating every puppeteer weakness of being exposed. He uses this puppet's scorpion tail to attack his targets. The tail is also laced with Sasori's special poison, a deadly poison capable of killing within hours. His signature human puppet, the third Kazekage, retained the Kazekage's iron sand technique, allowing Sasori to control magnetic fields, which protected him from metallic weapons. He could also use it to immobilize other puppets with the iron sand and attack opponents with his right arm, which held several poison blades. He could also summon several other arms, all holding the same poisonous blades, thus crushing the enemy and overwhelming them completely while suffocating them with poisonous gas clouds. However, his ultimate puppet was Sasori's own body, a testament to his expertise. He transformed himself into a human puppet, granting himself near immortality and eliminating physical weaknesses. This puppet body housed hidden weapons including poison blades, flamethrowers, and retractable stingers, making him lethal in close and range combat. Additionally, Sasori could summon a vast army of 100 puppets simultaneously, which he once used to bring down a nation, overwhelming opponents with sheer numbers and coordinated attacks. Sasori's calculated and emotionless approach to battle, combined with his unparalleled craftsmanship, solidified his reputation as one of the Akatsuki's most formidable members. Original Akatsuki members. Back when the Akatsuki first started in the village, hidden in the rain, Yahiko led the original Akatsuki with many members in search of peace for their painful land. The first members included Kie, which little is known about, Daibatsu, a water chakra nature user, and Kyusuke, a shinobi who grew tired of Hanzo's rule and started stealing from other small villages to survive. After meeting Yahiko, Konan, and Nagato, he ultimately aligned with Yahiko's vision and joined the Akatsuki, who benefited from his Kekkei Genkai lava style, which allowed Kyusuke to use lava-based ninjutsu, like the lava-style quick lime jutsu, which allowed him to use quick lime to inflict damage to his opponents. Hidan. Hidan, also known as the Immortal Butcher, hailed from Yugakure, the village hidden in hot water. Once a shinobi of his village, Hidan grew disillusioned with their newfound commitment to pacifism, which he considered weak and contrary to his violent nature, thus leading him to desert the village after killing his neighbors. His frustration led him to embrace Jashinism, a religious cult that worshipped the deity Jashin and demanded unrelenting carnage as devotion. Hidan performed the dark rites of Jashinism, granting him immortality as long as he continued offering sacrifices in the name of his god. This transformation cemented his bloodthirsty outlook on life as he defected from his village, seeking opportunities to indulge his sadistic tendencies. He was later recruited into the Akatsuki, where his immortality made him a valuable asset, paired with Kakuzu. Hidan's primary ability stemmed from the dark rituals of Jashinism, which rendered him immortal, allowing him to survive even decapitation, impalement, and any other fatal injuries that would kill anyone in an instant. His combat style revolved around his iconic scythe, a triple-bladed weapon attached to a long cable that he wielded with deadly precision to inflict injuries on his opponents. Hidan's most terrifying ability was his cursed jutsu, Death-Possessed Blood. By consuming even a drop of his enemy's blood and drawing Jashin's symbol on the ground, Hidan could link his body to his victims, creating a voodoo-like effect. Any injury Hidan inflicted on himself during this ritual was mirrored on his opponent, making him almost impossible to fight without falling into his trap. His immortality allowed him to inflict severe harm on himself without hesitation and transferring it to his victims, thus killing them in fatal ways, amplifying the terror of his abilities. Kakuzu. Kakuzu, a bounty hunter and treasurer of the Akatsuki, was a shinobi from Takigakure, the village hidden in the waterfall. His backstory is rooted in betrayal and vengeance. As an elite ninja of his village, Kakuzu was tasked with an impossible mission to assassinate Hashirama Senju, the first Hokage. Unsurprisingly, he failed to kill the god of shinobi and returned to Takigakure, only to be treated as a failure and imprisoned for his efforts. Consumed by rage, Kakuzu escaped, slaughtered his village leaders, and stole their forbidden Earth Grudge Fear technique. This technique allowed him to extend his lifespan indefinitely by integrating the hearts of others into his own body. After leaving his village, Kakuzu became a rogue ninja and mercenary driven by a lust for power and wealth. His skill and practicality drew the attention of the Akatsuki, who offered him a position, recognizing his strength and financial acumen, pairing him later on with Hidan and forming the iconic zombie combo. Kakuzu's abilities were derived from the Earth Grudge forbidden technique of his village, which transformed his body into a network of black threads, capable of stitching wounds, manipulating objects, and extending his limbs. More significantly, the technique allowed Kazuku to implant the heart of others into his body, granting him access to their chakra natures and essentially giving him 5 lives. Each heart was housed in a mask attached to his body, and each mask could detach and act independently, unleashing elemental attacks. Kakuzu mastered all 5 basic chakra natures: fire, wind, lightning, earth, and water, making him exceptionally versatile in battle. His Earth-style iron skin hardened the body to an almost indestructible level, allowing him to withstand powerful attacks. Kakuzu also demonstrated immense physical strength and speed, capable of overwhelming opponents with brute force. Despite his cold and calculated demeanor, Kakuzu's greed often overshadowed his loyalty to the Akatsuki, as he prioritized collecting bounties over their larger goals. His partnership with Hidan was a practical arrangement, as Hidan's immortality balanced Kakuzu's violent tendencies and frequent partner killings. Kakuzu's partner. This member with no name was Kakuzu's former partner before Hidan. Little is known about him, his background, or his abilities, as he was quickly killed by Kakuzu, who considered him too slow to dodge his attack during a combat with several shinobis, thus taking his heart to use it for his own forbidden technique. Juzo Biwa. Juzo Biwa was a former shinobi of the village, hidden in the mist, and one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. A group renowned for their deadly swordsmanship and powerful blades, Juzo wielded the Kubikiri Bocho, a massive sword capable of regenerating itself using the iron from the blood of those it cuts. After becoming a rogue ninja, his skills and ruthlessness caught the attention of the Akatsuki, who recruited him as one of their earliest members. In the organization, he was partnered with Itachi Uchiha, and while the two were initially distant, they eventually developed mutual respect through their shared missions. Juzo was a skilled water release user, being able to create water clones and envelop his surroundings in thick mist. However, his ability stemmed from his exceptional swordsmanship and his mastery of the Kubikiri Bocho. The sword's regenerative ability allowed Juzo to use it in prolonged combat without fear of it dulling or breaking. His fighting style emphasized heavy, sweeping attacks, using the blade's size and weight to overwhelm opponents. As a former member of the 7 Swordsmen, Juzo also possessed immense physical strength, speed, and durability, making him a formidable adversary in close combat. His tenure in the Akatsuki ended during a mission in the Land of Water, where he and Itachi were ambushed by the Mizukage and his forces. Juzo fought valiantly, but was fatally wounded during the encounter, dying with a sword by his side. Kisame Hoshigaki. Kisame Hoshigaki, known as the Monster of the Hidden Mist, was a former shinobi of the village hidden in the mist and one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. His backstory is steeped in violence and betrayal, reflective of Kirigakure's dark history during the Bloody Mist era. Kisame served under Fuguki Suikazan, another swordsman and wielder of the living blade Samehada. After discovering Fuguki was leaking information to the enemy, Kisame killed him, taking Samehada for himself. However, his disillusionment with the constant lies and backstabbing within his village grew, especially after learning that the Mizukage was being manipulated by Obito Uchiha, hiding at that time under the identity of Madara. This disillusionment, combined with his brutal efficiency, caught the attention of the Akatsuki. Kisame joined the organization, drawn to their vision of a unified world where lies and betrayal would cease. In the Akatsuki, he was paired with Itachi Uchiha, with whom he developed a strong camaraderie despite their differing personalities. Kisame's abilities made him one of the most powerful members of the Akatsuki. His use of Samehada, a sentient sword that could absorb chakra, allowed him to dominate opponents by depleting their energy while empowering himself. Samehada could also fuse with Kisame, transforming him into a monstrous shark-like form that enhanced his physical abilities and granted him the ability to breathe and move effortlessly underwater. Kisame was a master of water release techniques, capable of creating massive water formations, including the water-style shark dance, which trapped his enemies in a large, mobile dome of water where he had the advantage. A similar technique to his water prison jutsu, which created a sphere of heavy water around his target, which made it hard for them to move or breathe, thus drowning them to death. His Super Shark Bomb Jutsu creates a gigantic shark out of water, which absorbs chakra-based attacks, growing stronger as it consumes energy. Additionally, Kisame possessed immense physical strength, durability, and a massive chakra reserve, earning him the nickname the Tailless-Tailed Beast. White Zetsu. White Zetsu, one half of the enigmatic Zetsu duo, was a unique entity created by Kaguya Otsutsuki's will and Black Zetsu's manipulation. Unlike traditional shinobi, White Zetsu was not human, but a product of Kaguya's infinite Tsukuyomi, where victims were transformed into mindless servants known as White Zetsu army clones. The specific individual known as White Zetsu was among the first created and served as an essential operative for the Akatsuki. White Zetsu joined the Akatsuki under the guidance of Black Zetsu, who acted as the will of Kaguya and orchestrated events leading to her resurrection. White Zetsu played a vital role as a spy, scout, and support operative within the organization, rarely engaging in direct combat. While he mastered all chakra natures, White Zetsu's ability stemmed from his plant-like physiology and unique origin. He could merge with the ground, trees, or other surfaces, making him undetectable and an excellent spy. This ability allowed him to travel vast distances and relay information to the Akatsuki with incredible efficiency. White Zetsu could create clones of himself and others with his substitute technique, enabling him to deceive enemies and bolster the Akatsuki forces. His spore technique allowed him to attach spores to targets, which could drain their chakra and create clones to aid in battle. Additionally, White Zetsu had the ability to absorb chakra from opponents, which he used to sustain himself and power his techniques. Being almost entirely composed with the cells of Hashirama Senju, White Zetsu had the capacity to heal nearly all wounds, even without the use of hand seals. It's because of this that White Zetsu was able to aid his companions by grafting his body parts onto them, should they lose any major portion of their anatomy. Those aided in this way are also gifted White Zetsu's healing capabilities. Ultimately, White Zetsu's existence was tied for Kaguya's grand plan, and his true purpose was revealed during the Fourth Great Ninja War, where he served as part of the White Zetsu army infused with the DNA of Hashirama Senju. Despite his often underestimated role, White Zetsu was a key player in the Akatsuki's operations and the larger machinations of Kaguya Otsutsuki. Black Zetsu. Black Zetsu was not merely a member of the Akatsuki, but a manifestation of Kaguya Otsutsuki's will, created to orchestrate her eventual resurrection. Unlike White Zetsu, who was born from the victims of the infinite Tsukuyomi, Black Zetsu was a sentient extension of Kaguya, imbued with her intelligence and single-minded devotion. For centuries, Black Zetsu manipulated key events in the shinobi world to achieve its goal of reviving Kaguya. It rewrote history, influencing countless individuals, including Madara Uchiha, to believe its fabricated narratives. Black Zetsu was instrumental in Madara's pursuit of Tsukinome plan, posing as his loyal servant while subtly guiding his actions to align with Kaguya's ultimate objective. Black Zetsu mastered all chakra natures, including the wood style, but his abilities were rooted in its unique nature as a will rather than a traditional shinobi. It could merge with and control the bodies of others, as seen when it attached itself to White Zetsu and later Obito Uchiha. This merging allowed Black Zetsu to gain access to the abilities and chakra of its host, making it a versatile and dangerous combatant. It could also absorb and manipulate chakra, as well as immobilize opponents by binding them. Black Zetsu was highly durable and could survive significant physical damage due to its amorphous, non-human nature. It also serves as a living repository of knowledge about shinobi history, techniques, and the Rinnegan, using this knowledge to manipulate individuals like Madara and Obito. As a member of the Akatsuki, Black Zetsu operates in the shadows, rarely engaging in combat. Its primary role was that of a manipulator and observer, working through its hosts and influencing the organization's actions to serve its hidden agenda. During the Fourth Shinobi World War, Black Zetsu revealed its true allegiance by betraying Madara, using him as a vessel to resurrect Kaguya Otsutsuki. Despite its cunning and centuries of meticulous planning, Black Zetsu ultimately met its downfall at the hands of Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha, who sealed Kaguya and nullified its plans. Yahiko, a charismatic and determined individual, was the founder of the original Akatsuki, a group initially formed to promote peace in the war-torn Land of Rain. Orphaned during the Second Shinobi World War, Yahiko grew up alongside Nagato and Konan, struggling to survive amidst the chaos of constant warfare. Inspired by Jiraiya, their sensei, Yahiko developed a strong belief in ending the cycle of violence and became the leader of the Akatsuki. Under his leadership, the group grew into a significant force, advocating for non-violent solutions to conflicts in the Land of Rain. However, their ideals clashed with the ambitions of Hanzo of the Salamander, the leader of Amegakure, and the manipulations of Obito Uchiha, who sought to twist the Akatsuki to serve his own plans. Yahiko's abilities as a shinobi were impressive, though less emphasized compared to his leadership qualities. He specialized in water-style jutsus, using them both offensively and defensively in combat. He was also able to use wind and fire styles, thus making him a very skilled shinobi. Yahiko's real strength, however, lay in his ability to inspire and unify people. He had a natural charisma and a firm conviction in his ideals, which attracted followers and turned the Akatsuki into a powerful political and military organization. His dream of creating peace in the Land of Rain was the driving force behind his actions and decisions. Tragically, Yahiko's journey was cut short when Hanzo, in collaboration with Danzo, ambushed the Akatsuki. During the confrontation, Hanzo threatened Konan's life, forcing Yahiko to make a heart-wrenching decision. In an act of self-sacrifice, Yahiko impaled himself on Nagato's kunai, ensuring Konan's safety and solidifying Nagato's resolve to carry on his vision. Yahiko's death marked a turning point for Nagato, who embraced the alias Pain and adopted a more radical approach to achieving peace. Yahiko's legacy lived on through Pain's leadership of the Akatsuki, though the organization's original ideals were wrapped into a more destructive path. Despite his untimely death, Yahiko's vision of peace remained a core element of the Akatsuki origins, serving as a poignant reminder of the cost of war and the fragility of hope. Konan, known as the Angel of Amegakure, was a founding member of the original Akatsuki alongside Yahiko and Nagato. As an orphan of the Second Shinobi World War, Konan experienced the harsh realities of a war-torn world at a young age. She, along with Yahiko and Nagato, was discovered by Jiraiya, who took them under his wing and trained them in ninjutsu. Konan developed a close bond with Yahiko and Nagato, sharing their dream of creating a peaceful world. After Jiraiya left, the trio formed the Akatsuki as a grassroots organization to bring peace to the Land of Rain, gathering followers and gaining recognition for their ideals. However, their efforts were crushed when Hanzo of the Salamander, with Danzo's support, betrayed them. Yahiko's death deeply affected Konan, but she remained resolute in carrying on his vision. Under Nagato's leadership as Pain, she became his most loyal lieutenant and co-leader of the Akatsuki. Konan's abilities were as elegant as they were deadly, revolving around her mastery of origami ninjutsu. She utilized her unique dance of the shikigami technique, transforming her body into countless sheets of paper resistant to water and even fire that she could manipulate with precision. This ability allowed her to evade attacks, fly by giving her paper wings, which granted her her nickname, and created deadly projectiles such as paper shuriken and spears by hardening her paper with chakra to the extent of being able to restrain any target by blanketing them in paper and even asphyxiate them. She could also create butterflies in order to gather information or travel long distances. Her most devastating technique was the Sacred Paper Emissary Jutsu, in which she disguises 6 billion explosive tags as the surrounding scenery as seen in her fight with Obito. An attack so well sophisticated that even the Sharingan could not see through it. When the target is in position, Konan splits the scenery in half, creating a deep abyss beneath the target, who falls, followed by countless explosive papers ready to stick onto their body and detonate in a 10 minutes interrupted series of explosions. Obito Uchiha. Obito Uchiha, originally thought to be a kind-hearted Konoha shinobi, became one of the most pivotal figures in the Akatsuki's dark history. As a child, Obito was part of Team Minato alongside Kakashi Hatake and Rin Nohara. He aspired to become Hokage and win Rin's affection. However, his life changed during the Third Shinobi War when he was crushed by a boulder during a mission and presumed dead. In reality, Obito was rescued by Madara Uchiha, who healed his body using white Zetsu material and manipulated his perception of the world. Witnessing Rin's death at the hands of Kakashi, orchestrated by Kirigakure to use her as a tool, shattered Obito's ideals and drove him into despair. Believing the world to be irreparably flawed, Obito fully embraced Madara's plan to create a new world using the infinite Tsukuyomi. Adopting the identity of Tobi and later impersonating Madara, Obito became the secret leader of the Akatsuki, steering its actions toward capturing the tailed beasts for his ultimate goal. Obito's abilities were a combination of Uchiha lineage and enhancements from Madara and Zetsu. His Mangekyo Sharingan granted him Kamui, a space-time ninjutsu that allowed him to phase through attacks or transport objects and himself into another dimension, which he uses to transport himself through large distances. This made him nearly invulnerable in combat as opponents struggled to land a hit. Obito also inherited Madara's Rinnegan, which expanded his abilities to include powerful techniques such as the Outer Path, which gave him the power to control life and death, summon black rods, manifest chakra chains, and control over the Gedo statue. With the Rinnegan, he also created his own version of the 6 Paths of Pain, composed of the 6 reincarnated Jinchuriki with their respective tailed beasts sealed back into their bodies and all sharing the same eye pattern as Obito, a right Sharingan and a left Rinnegan. This formation allowed him not only to use the Jinchuriki in battle, but also to keep the tailed beasts under control. He mastered all chakra natures with a remarkable proficiency in fire-style jutsu, showcasing destructive techniques like fire-style, bomb blast dance, creating a spiral of fire which engulfs the opponent in a blazing vortex. Obito's use of white Zetsu material enhanced his physical resilience, giving him regenerative abilities and allowing him to use the wood style as well. As the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, Obito reached a godlike state stronger than the incomplete Ten Tails, gaining immense power that allowed him to fly, produce trees from which he fired tailed beast bombs. Additionally, he could use the truth-seeking orbs, which allowed him to shape them freely to defend himself or attack via projectiles, explosives, and various weapons. These orbs also nullified ninjutsu, making them nearly unstoppable. However, Obito's arc was one of redemption. His encounter with Naruto Uzumaki, who mirrored the ideals he once held, forced him to confront the pain and hatred that had consumed him. Ultimately, Obito sacrificed himself to protect Naruto and the allied shinobi forces from Kaguya Otsutsuki, redeeming himself and reaffirming his belief in a better world. Obito's tragic journey from an optimistic young ninja to a manipulative villain and finally to a redeemed hero underscores his complexity as one of Naruto's most layered characters.